The life you want is just one decision away. One single decision that will separate you from the guy who stays on the couch watching Netflix every night, from the guy who promises every Monday he'll start going to the gym, from the guy who has 1,000 ideas but never executes any of them. Do you want to be a disciplined person? Or do you want to keep procrastinating and only doing activities that give you momentary pleasure? Because I'm going to tell you a truth that's going to hurt. 99% of people choose momentary pleasure. And that's why 99% of people live mediocre lives, complaining that they don't have time, that they don't have luck, that they weren't born with a silver spoon. If you got uncomfortable with what I just said, great. It means there's still hope for you. Stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to show you exactly how discipline is the only difference between you and the person you've always wanted to be. Most people think success is about having some magical talent or being born lucky. But that's complete garbage. I've studied thousands of successful people, and you know what they all have in common? It's not intelligence. It's not connections. It's not even talent. It's the ability to do what they say they're going to do, especially when they don't feel like doing it. Let me ask you an honest question. How many times have you woken up on Monday full of energy, made a list of everything you were going to do during the week, and on Friday, you looked at that list and realized you didn't do even 20% of what you planned? You know what the problem is? You're living in the illusion of motivation. You think you need to be motivated to act. You wait to feel like doing important things. And while you're waiting for that magical desire to appear, your life is passing you by. Look at the raw reality. While you're sitting there waiting for motivation to come, your competitor's waking up at 5 a.m. every day. While you're watching another episode of a series, he's reading a book that's going to change his career. While you're scrolling through Instagram, he's building the business that's going to give him the financial freedom you dream about. The difference between you and him isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not connections. It's discipline. And discipline, my friend, isn't a gift. It's a skill you can develop. Now I'm going to break a myth that might be sabotaging your entire life. You probably think discipline is about willpower, right? That it's about being tough, being military, waking up at 4 a.m. and working out until you pass out. Wrong. Completely wrong. Discipline is about something much simpler and at the same time much more powerful. It's about making small promises to yourself and keeping those promises religiously, even when you don't want to. Let me repeat this because it's revolutionary. Discipline isn't about doing big, heroic things. It's about doing small, consistent things, especially when you don't feel like it. When you promise yourself you're going to read 10 pages of a book every day, and you read those 10 pages even when you're tired, even when Netflix is calling you, even when your friends are calling you to hang out, that is discipline. And here's the secret nobody tells you. Every time you keep a small promise to yourself, you're literally reprogramming your brain. You're creating new neural circuits. You're becoming a different person. Look, I'm not just talking to talk. Neuroscience has already proven this. There's a Stanford University study that followed people for 2 years and discovered something incredible. The most successful people weren't the smartest. They weren't the most talented. They were the ones who had developed what researchers called self-efficacy, which is nothing more than the confidence that you can do what you promise yourself. And how do you develop this self-efficacy? By keeping small promises, by being reliable to yourself, by building discipline. But here comes the part that's going to blow your mind. When you start being disciplined in one area of your life, it automatically spreads to other areas. Scientists call this discipline transfer. If you develop discipline to wake up early, you automatically become more disciplined with food. If you become disciplined with exercise, you become more disciplined at work. If you become disciplined with studies, you become more disciplined in relationships. It's like discipline is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. And when it gets strong in one area, it gets strong in all areas. But there's a crucial detail I need to tell you. There's a huge difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation is like that friend who only shows up when everything's going well. Discipline is like that friend who's there regardless of the situation. Motivation abandons you when you need it most. When you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're going through a rough patch, motivation is nowhere to be found. But discipline shows up every single day, especially on the days when you don't want it to. Let me tell you the story of a guy I met a few years ago. Let's call him Mike. Mike was 28 years old, had been unemployed for 8 months, was living with his parents after losing his apartment, and spent all day watching YouTube videos and playing video games until 3 in the morning. Mike was at rock bottom. He had been fired from a job he hated, ended a 3-year relationship, and was dealing with depression. He told me he woke up every day without purpose, that he felt like a complete failure. He saw friends posting photos of trips, promotions, weddings, and there he was, stuck in time. Mike was in that situation many people know. He wanted to change his life but didn't know where to start. Every Monday he made grandiose plans. He was going to get a job, take courses, start going to the gym, learn English, move out of his parents' house. By Wednesday, he had already given up on everything. He went back to video games, to YouTube, to bed. The cycle repeated week after week, month after month. Each failed attempt made him feel worse about himself. Until one day, Mike reached his limit. He told me he was looking in the mirror and didn't recognize himself anymore. He had gained 30 pounds, hadn't shaved in weeks, and his parents were starting to lose patience. That's when he made a different decision. Instead of making a gigantic plan, he made a small promise. He was going to read 5 pages of a self-development book every day for 30 days. That's it. 5 pages. Not even a complete chapter. The first few days were torture. He literally had to force himself to get out of bed. There were days he read those 5 pages with tears in his eyes, angry at himself, just to fulfill that ridiculously small promise. But he kept it. After 30 days, you know what happened? He didn't stop reading. He continued, because something had changed inside him. For the first time in months, he had proven to himself that he was capable of keeping what he promised, that he still had control over something in his life. Then he added another small promise, 20 push-ups a day. After 30 days of keeping that one, he added another, 30 minutes studying programming. Then another. Wake up at 7 a.m. every day. Today, 2 years later, Mike is a developer at a startup, earns more than many of his college-graduated friends, has the body he always wanted, lives alone in a nice apartment, and most importantly, he became a reliable person to himself. He told me recently, "I'm no longer that guy who breaks promises to himself." Mike's transformation didn't happen because of a perfect plan. It happened because of small promises kept consistently, especially on the hardest days. Discipline. Now, I'm going to give you exactly the system you need to develop true discipline. This isn't theory. It's a practical method that works if you follow exactly what I'm going to explain. Step number 1. Choose one small promise. Not 10, not 5, 1. Something you can do in 5 to 10 minutes a day. It could be reading 5 pages, doing 10 push-ups, meditating for 5 minutes, studying English for 15 minutes. The important thing is that it's small enough that you have no excuse. If you're thinking that's too small to make a difference, you're missing the point. You're not trying to get fit in 30 days. You're trying to become the type of person who keeps promises to themselves. You're building the discipline muscle. Step number 2. Do this every day for 30 days. It doesn't matter if you're sick, tired, busy, sad, happy, every day, because discipline is about consistency, not intensity. This means you do it when you're traveling, when you're stressed, when you have a million other things to do. You do it because you promised yourself you would, and your word to yourself is sacred. Step number 3. Record it. Make an X on the calendar every day you complete it. This might seem silly, but there's science behind it. Our brain loves visual rewards. That X will release dopamine and reinforce the habit. Get a physical calendar and put it somewhere you'll see it every day. Don't use an app. Use pen and paper. There's something powerful about the physical act of making that mark. Step number 4. When you complete 30 days, celebrate. Seriously, really celebrate. You just did something that 90% of people can't do. You proved to yourself that you're disciplined. Don't minimize this achievement. Don't think it was just 5 minutes a day. You changed your identity. You became someone different. That deserves recognition. Step number 5. Only after completing 30 days of one promise, add a second one. Never try to make multiple promises at the same time in the beginning. You'll fail and give up. Master one thing completely before adding another. Build one habit until it's automatic, then stack another one on top. This is how you build unstoppable momentum. And here's the secret hack. Choose promises that are connected to your bigger goals. If your goal is to have a business, your small promise could be reading 10 pages of an entrepreneurship book every day. If your goal is to have a better body, it could be doing 15 minutes of exercise every day. This way, your small daily actions are actually moving you toward your bigger vision. You're not just building discipline for the sake of discipline, you're building discipline while making real progress. Now, I want you to stop for a second and imagine 2 versions of yourself 1 year from now. Version number 1. You who didn't watch this video, or watched but didn't do anything with the information. You continue in the same situation as today. Maybe even worse because another year has passed and you haven't evolved at all. You still complain that you don't have time. You still keep promising that Monday will be different. You still live on this emotional roller coaster. You're still making the same excuses. Still waiting for the perfect moment. Still planning to start someday. Your dreams are still dreams. Your goals are still just wishes. Version number 2. You who decided to apply what you learned here. You who made and kept small promises every day for a year. This you is a completely different person. You trust yourself. When you decide to do something, you do it. You don't just talk, you execute. You became someone disciplined. This version of you has momentum, has confidence, has results. This version of you looks back at where you started and can't believe how far you've come. Which of these 2 versions do you want to be? I know it might seem difficult at first. I know you might be thinking, oh, another self-help video, another promise I won't keep. But here's the difference. I'm not asking you to change your entire life at once. I'm asking you to make one small promise and keep it for 30 days. Can you do that? Can you choose one small thing and do it every day for 30 days? Because if you can, your life will change forever. Look, I'm going to be straight with you. This video is going to end in a few seconds. You're going to close this tab and real life will continue. The question is, what are you going to do with what you just learned? You have 2 options. You can treat this like just another video you watched. You might even like it, share it, and then forget about it. Or you can do something different. You can make the decision right now, in this moment, to choose your first small promise. I want you to do this. Choose right now, while you're listening, what your small promise will be for the next 30 days. And if you have the courage to make this commitment, write in the comments what your promise is. Because when you write publicly, you're committing not just to yourself, but to the entire community that's here. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone who's in the same situation you were in before watching this video, share it with that person. Because sometimes the only thing that separates someone from an extraordinary life is having access to the right information at the right time. Remember the question I asked at the beginning. Do you want to be a disciplined person, or do you want to keep procrastinating and only doing activities that generate momentary pleasure? The choice is yours. It always has been. The life you want is one decision away. The decision to become disciplined. See you in the next video. And I hope that when I meet you there, you'll be a more disciplined version of yourself. Peace out.